It starts at night. You lie down in bed, ready to sleep, but the moment the sheets touch your feet, it feels like sandpaper. Or maybe it feels like ice. Or maybe it feels like fire. You kick the covers off. You try to find a cool spot on the mattress, but the burning does not stop, because the burning is not on your skin. It is inside your skin. This is the silent torture of millions of people over 65. Doctors call it peripheral neuropathy, but let's call it what it really is: the slow death of your nerves. It starts with a tingle in the toes, then numbness, then it feels like you are walking on cotton wool. You step on a pebble, but you don't feel it. You step on the carpet, but you don't know where the floor ends and your foot begins. And that numbness, that is not just annoying, that is dangerous. Because if you cannot feel the floor, you cannot balance. And if you cannot balance, you fall. And we all know what happens when a senior falls. But here's the most frustrating part. You go to the doctor, you explain the burning, you explain the numbness, and they look at your chart, they look at your age, and they say, well, you're getting older. It's just wear and tear. Learn to live with it. They might give you a pill to mask the pain, gabapentin, Lyrica, but they do not tell you why it is happening. They do not tell you that your nerves are being attacked. They do not tell you that you might be poisoning yourself every single morning. I want to tell you about a man named Frank. Frank was 72, a retired school teacher. He was doing everything right. He walked every day. He didn't smoke. And every morning for 20 years, he started his day with a heart-healthy breakfast: a glass of orange juice, a bowl of oatmeal with fruit, and a piece of whole wheat toast. He thought he was fueling his body. In reality, he was dissolving his nervous system. Frank came to me because he could no longer feel the gas pedal in his car. He was terrified he was going to crash. He thought he had a genetic disease. He didn't. He had sugar toxicity. Not from candy, not from soda, but from the very health foods he was told to eat. You see, nerves are delicate. They are like electrical wires wrapped in a protective coating called myelin. When you feed your body the wrong fuel, specifically liquid sugar and naked carbohydrates, you turn your blood into a syrup. And that syrup effectively caramelizes your nerves. It strips away the insulation. It leaves the raw wire exposed. That is why your feet burn. That is the short circuit happening inside your legs. In this video, we are going to expose the 5 healthy habits that are secretly destroying your nerves. We are going to look at the breakfast poison. We are going to look at the medication that strips your vitamin B12, and we are going to show you how to stop the burning before the numbness becomes permanent. Let's start with the most dangerous item in your kitchen, the one you probably drank this morning.
The one you probably drank this morning. The liquid fire. Let's talk about the glass of orange juice, or the green smoothie with bananas and mango. You have been told your whole life fruit is healthy, it has vitamin C. And that is true if you eat the fruit. But when you pulverize it, when you blend it or squeeze it, you are stripping away the fiber matrix. You are taking a slow-release energy source and turning it into a sugar tsunami. When a senior drinks 8 ounces of juice, that sugar hits the bloodstream in minutes. There is no fiber to slow it down. Your blood sugar spikes. It shoots up to levels seen in diabetics. And your nerves, they scream. This process has a name. It is called glycation. Imagine dipping a wire into hot caramel. The sugar sticks. it hardens, it becomes brittle. That is what happens to the proteins in your nerve endings. The sugar molecules bond to the myelin sheath. They glaze the nerve. And a glazed nerve cannot stretch, it cannot bend, it cracks. It stops sending clear signals to the brain. Instead, it sends static. That static is the burning pain you feel at night. That static is the numbness. Frank, the teacher I told you about, he drank a large glass of juice every single morning for 40 years. He was caramelizing his own feet from the inside out. He wasn't diabetic, but his postprandial glucose, his sugar spike after breakfast, was destroying him. The naked carbohydrate. But it is not just the juice. It is the toast, it is the oatmeal, it is the crackers. If you eat a piece of dry toast or a bowl of plain oatmeal, you are eating what I call a naked carbohydrate. It has no clothes, it has no protection. It turns into glucose instantly. And for a nervous system that is already fragile, that spike is an attack. The inflammation rises, the nerves swell, the tunnel narrows, and the numbness spreads. If there is one rule you take from this video, let it be this: never let a carbohydrate walk alone. You must dress your carbs. You must add protein and fat, an egg with the toast, nuts in the oatmeal, cheese with the cracker. The protein and fat act like a brake pedal. They slow down the stomach. They turn the sugar tsunami into a gentle stream. When Frank stopped drinking juice and started eating eggs with his toast, his burning pain dropped by 50% in 2 weeks. His nerves finally had a chance to cool down. But sugar is only one part of the equation. There is another way to strip a nerve, and this one comes from your medicine cabinet. There is a common pill that millions of seniors take for heartburn that is silently robbing your body of the one vitamin your nerves desperately need to survive. Let's look at the acid blocker trap and why your stomach needs acid to save your feet.
Why your stomach needs acid to save your feet. The B12 mystery. Imagine your nerves are like high-speed internet cables. They are wrapped in a thick, fatty insulation called myelin. This insulation is what allows a signal to travel from your brain to your big toe in a fraction of a second. But to build and maintain that insulation, your body requires one specific ingredient, vitamin B12. Without B12, the insulation thins. The wires are stripped bare, and a bare wire short circuits. It sparks, it misfires, it causes that electric shock pain that makes you jump in your chair. Now here is the tragedy. You might be eating plenty of B12. You eat meat, you eat eggs, but you aren't absorbing a single drop of it. Why? Because of the little purple or white pill you take every morning for heartburn. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs. These medications work by turning off your stomach acid, and while that stops the burning in your chest, it starts a fire in your feet. You see, your body cannot unlock B12 from food without stomach acid. If you've been on acid blockers for years, you are likely starving your nerves of their only protection. I have seen patients labeled with incurable neuropathy who simply needed to fix their B12 levels. But you can't just swallow a pill. If your stomach acid is gone, you need sublingual B12. It dissolves under the tongue. It bypasses the stomach. It goes straight to the blood. It puts the insulation back on the wires. The snacking fire. But there's a second stripper in your daily routine, the habit of constant snacking. We've been told to eat small meals throughout the day to keep our energy up. For a senior with nerve damage, this is a disaster. Every time you eat, your insulin rises, and insulin is a growth hormone,
but in high, constant doses, it is highly inflammatory. If you are grazing from 6 in the morning until 9 at night, your nerves are never at rest. They are sitting in a bath of inflammatory chemicals for 15 hours a day. Think of it like a car engine. If you never turned it off, if you let it idle for 24 hours, it will eventually overheat and melt. Your nerves are overheating. They need a recovery window. They need a period of time where insulin is at 0 so they can begin the process of autophagy. That's a fancy word for self-cleaning. It's when your cells repair the damage from the sugar spikes of the day. But if you are always eating, the cleaning crew never shows up. The trash accumulates, the nerves degenerate. By simply narrowing your eating window, waiting an hour after you wake up to eat, and finishing your last bite by 7 p.m., you give your nerves a 12-hour cooling period. For many, this is the difference between a night of burning pain and a night of deep restorative sleep. We have seen the poison chalice. We've seen the silent strippers. Now we need to talk about the silent poison that 80% of people over 60 have without ever knowing it. It is the reason your fasting blood sugar test might be lying to you. Let's look at the pre-diabetes ghost and the test your doctor is probably missing.
The test your doctor is probably missing. The pre-diabetes ghost. You go for your annual physical. The doctor checks your fasting glucose. The number comes back at 98. The doctor smiles. Your sugar is perfect, they say. But you still can't feel your toes. The burning is still there. How is that possible? Because a fasting test only shows your blood sugar at its lowest point after you've been sleeping for 8 hours. It doesn't show the spikes. Recent research from the University of Michigan found that 50% of people with normal fasting sugar actually have pre-diabetes. During the day, after they eat that healthy juice or that naked toast, their sugar shoots up to 180. These spikes are like lightning bolts hitting your nerves. By the time you wake up and get tested, the lightning is gone, but the damage is done. If you have unexplained neuropathy, do not settle for a fasting test. Ask for an A1C test, or better yet, buy a $20 glucose monitor and check your sugar 2 hours after your largest meal. If that number is over 140, you are poisoning your nerves in the dark. The protocol. Now we stop the damage. We are going to implement the nerve rescue protocol. It is not a diet. It is a biological reset. There are 3 rules. Rule number 1, the juice ban. From this second forward, you do not drink your fruit. You do not drink smoothies. You do not drink natural juice. If you want the orange, eat the orange. The fiber is the shield that protects your nerves. Without the shield, the fruit is just a chemical burn. Rule number 2, clothe your carbs. Never let a carbohydrate walk alone. If you eat a potato, it must be with butter or meat. If you eat bread, it must be with eggs or avocado. Protein and fat are the brakes on the sugar train. They keep the lightning bolts from hitting your system. Rule number 3, the recovery window. Stop the grazing. Wait at least 12 hours between your last bite of the night and your first bite of the morning. Give the cleaning crew in your cells a chance to fix the wires. If you finish dinner at 7 p.m., do not touch food until 7 a.m. Let the fire cool down.
The conclusion. I want you to understand something very important. Your nerves are not failing because you are old. They are failing because they are under constant chemical attack. They are starving for B12, and they are being caramelized by liquid sugar. But the nervous system is incredibly resilient. If you stop the attack today, the burning can fade. The numbness can stabilize. You can regain the confidence to walk across the room without a cane. You can feel the texture of the carpet again. You can feel the ground beneath your feet. You are not a victim of your genetics. You are the architect of your own recovery. Stop the poison, start the healing, and stand tall.